Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video, I want to talk about what I believe Chloe does for work in Life is Strange Double Exposure. Now we know that Max is a resident at Colden University and she's been there for the past 6 months teaching students. But what is it that Chloe does? Now obviously she has to have a job because I don't just see her, because we know Max and Chloe after the events of Life is Strange 1, if they're together. The two of them are traveling just across the state, and Max is trying to get her photography career started, and so she keeps handing in photographs to other places. And Max mentions that to Sophie that her mum really helped her out when she was in a tight spot, and that's how she got the job at Colden University. But what about Chloe? Who's to say that the job she's doing is the reason that she may not be at Colden with Max? It could be that this job is keeping them apart, and probably why we won't see Chloe in the beginning of Double Exposure, but later on. So I'm about to list off 3 jobs I think that Chloe is possibly doing, and I want to know what you all think in the comments. Let's start with the first one. Now, I believe this one to be the most likely, and I think it is mechanic. In Life is Strange Before the Storm, we see how Chloe gets her iconic truck in the first game, and she finds it in the junkyard where she takes Max in episode 2, and she not only finds the truck, but she fixes it up all by herself as a way for her and Rachel to leave Arcadia. Now, a mechanic isn't just someone that fixes up cars. There's different types of positions for a mechanic to do. There's the general one, which is automatic mechanic, but then there's also a diesel mechanic, brake and transmission technicians, auto body mechanics, and it doesn't just apply to cars. There's also mechanics for planes and heavy equipment mechanics. The list goes on, but I do believe that Chloe would stick to cars. And as we know, Double Exposure takes place a decade after Life is Strange 1. So who's to say by this time Chloe isn't a head mechanic? She's overseeing a team and maintaining equipment and records for a shop. Like, she could have her own business. If you remember in the comic, towards the very end, Chloe shows Max that she and a few other people pulled their money together to rebuild the Two Whales Diner, and around the side Chloe had a little auto mechanic shop done, so people can go, they can have breakfast and get their cars checked while they're having breakfast, which I thought was pretty cool in the comics. I like that. And this could also explain why she isn't in Colden University with Max, because she is in charge of this business and she has to be where the business is, so to run it, to manage it. And if I'm not mistaken, it takes about 3 or 4 years to become a head mechanic. So I don't believe this would happen right away. As we learn in Life is Strange 2, Chloe and Max are still going around, and they're still traveling together, and Max is handing in her photographs to try and get recognized, because she wants to be a photographer. That's her dream job. So perhaps after a while they have to settle down somewhere, and then Chloe starts her job, starts learning to be a mechanic, and because they obviously need jobs to get money to pay for food and accommodations and whatnot, otherwise how are they going to survive? Now, this second job I think would make things a little more easy for them if they're traveling on the road, and it's that Chloe could be a sculptor. We see in volume 2 of Life is Strange in the comic Waves, Chloe sold a sculpture and she called it the Storm, and it looked like the Storm, and she sold that to someone. We don't know who it is, but I can see Chloe doing that as well, because if you think about it, it would make more sense as to how her and Max are always going on the road. If Chloe makes something and then sells it, that's cash in pocket for her and Max, and then they can keep traveling, and Max can keep going to museums, art galleries, not museums, and just handing in her photographs, trying to get recognized. So I do think that would make more sense if they're always traveling, but if they ended up staying in one place, then yes, mechanic would make more sense. Now, the last job I think Chloe could be suited for is being an artist, because we see from the drawings that she has in Life is Strange and Before the Storm, even the farewell episode, she's a good artist, so who's to say she can't paint or sketch something and sell it? Maybe she even does some artwork for, because we see in Before the Storm, not Before the Storm, in the comic, Chloe's working for the High Seas band and she's helping design logos for the band. So who's to say she couldn't do something like that and just sell it to bands and whatnot? And they could use her artwork as cover art for an album or something, I don't know. But out of all the jobs, I do feel, to me, mechanic makes the most sense, but these two are the most realistic. I mean, you can also factor in that she could be a tattoo artist, because we know she didn't design her own tattoo, and she didn't tattoo herself, clearly someone else did. But she could be a tattoo artist. Who's to say? If she's a great drawer, who's to say that she can't do that as a profession? But no, out of all of them, I do think mechanic to me makes the most sense, and it makes sense as to why she couldn't be with Max if she's in charge of a mechanic business. But anyways, that's really all I wanted to talk about in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think she could be doing for work, and would it explain why she isn't with Max? This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.